How's it going, YouTube? This is Crazy316. Just got back from the family reunion over the weekend. A lot shorter than usual and less people, but when we have it back down here again, maybe it'll be more. So, I'm going to make a video in response to Mike Libertarian, and for the last time, because for obvious reasons you will see when I make the video. So, after much whining and quote twisting, when he finally gets to starting with the video, the first point this cat makes is in his video that the theory of evolution is the real deal, while the Bible is a fairy tale that hasn't been proven, in lieu of the fact of several archaeological discoveries, fulfilled prophecies that are too complex to bullcrap and too big, etc., etc. I have a quick question. Why do we call it 2009 AD? Who was it that died that we're keeping the timeline record after his death again? Was that Christ? No, it couldn't have been. But anyway, evolutionists will be quick to try and separate abiogenesis from evolution because the fact that abiogenesis is improvable renders evolution useless because you need one to get to the other. This being off topic and strawman to the actual argument, let's dismantle this cat's video now. So first of all, he brings up the consent topic I spoke on and pretty much doesn't really get to a point because he's confused and doesn't get it. To that, I can't help you understand that an animal may not be able to consent through a signed contract, but they still consent through their actions. So the next point he brings up is my percentage for studies done on animals in captivity. Most studies of so-called animal homosexuality are done on animals in captivity. For example, zoos and artificial habitats, even in the wild. You defeat the purpose of the definition of natural, of existing outside of human intervention, whilst you're all in their territory. So, next he tries to pick on my definition of natural as an incorrect definition and one that is a religious creationist would use, not knowing that the definition came straight from dictionary.com. It was just a pathetic move on his behalf, with a failed ad hominem attack against the religious as a whole, and a poor excuse for a rebuttal. The next point he tries to make is that I only have two sources, and that they're not credible because they disagree with me. Well, I did have more than two sources, I just didn't know that I would have to post every last one of them for the lazy bastard. Let's get started. I have researched countless science articles and books referencing reasons for the so-called homosexual actions of animals, and referencing things that have nothing to do with animal homosexuality. My sources are legit because one explains we don't know what's going on internally, whilst the other gives us reasons why these actions are done. For example, the flower beetle dumps sperm on another male to make fresh sperm for females. In this, we can see no penetration was had and the beetle was preparing for a female. Now, someone with some common sense, please explain to this cat what kind of homosexual male prepares himself for a female by ejaculating on another male to make fresh sperm for the female and not the male. If anything, if this were to be classified as a sexuality, it would be bisexuality, not homosexuality. Even in this case, there's no penetration. So, this cat uses failed logic once again. I've posted yet another source from Wired Science also exposing scientists for oversimplifying the so-called homosexuality in animals instead of keeping an open mind as to why these actions are being made. Like, and I quote, "Male dung flies are believed to mate with other males simply to occupy their time, thus denying them a chance to reproduce. Small male goody fishes camouflage themselves as female and mate with female while males pursue them. And young fruit flies seem to do better at heterosexual mating once they've had some same-sex practice. Some of these are things that were addressed also in the National Geographic thing. Therefore, the meat of my entire argument is that if these animals are homosexual, why then are they mating with females? It doesn't make sense." Also, he oversimplifies that the author of the book Biological Exuberance spent 10 years studying these animals. He's a professional, huh? You know what else professionals did? Professionals built the Titanic, but amateurs built the Ark. So the fact that he spent 10 years out there doesn't mean anything, because there could have been somebody who spent 5 years out there and came up with a completely different thing and got that right. So the next point that is attempted to be made includes misquotes. He states that I say animals have no morals. Survey says, let's roll that beautiful footage.
Animals lack advanced logic, reasoning, and morals.
It is here that we can see I said animals lack advanced logic, reasoning, and morals, not logic, reasoning, morals, and overall that they lack. They lack advanced logic, reasoning, and morals. So then he proceeds to throw out a fat straw man and a red herring by claiming that just like animals, humans eat their young, kill their leader, take his position, and commit what? They commit rape and murder? That's not what I said. Let's roll that footage again.
They commit acceptable rape and murder.
So here we see I said they commit acceptable rape and murder, which is unacceptable for us. That is the reason why we have punishment for that. Let's note that animals killing their young is common and an everyday thing for the animal kingdom. So also is rape and murder, which is acceptable there, but not for us. And lastly, killing our leader to take his position. This is a component in the animal kingdom which is not common nor acceptable by our standards, especially in today's time. This cat's failed logic is killing me. After he fails on those points, he then tries another failed ad hominem attack on the Christians as a whole, stating we lack these moral standards when the teachings of Christ explicitly stand against rape, murder, and any kind of violence. Sorry, you fail. Next is yet another misquote. He states, I say animals don't feel love, and even if they do, it's especially not at the level humans do. Roll that footage.
Animals don't feel love like we as humans do. The so-called homosexual activity is not a lifetime event, yet an isolated event from a cause was an effect. They are heterosexual, and their desire to reproduce is never overridden.
I am so sick of playing clips back because this cat's failure to quote right. Anyway, now he then attempts to make a point by saying animals surpass humans in monogamy by leaving out a ton of information, and I quote from Softpedia, monogamy is so rare in the animal world that only 3 to 5% of mammals are known to form lifelong pair bonds. Very quickly, from this point, notice how Mike Libertarian only said mammals. Notice how he leaves out all the rest of the animal kingdom. And the source also says mammals only too. What does that leave us with? It leaves us with even more of trickery that he tries to use by leaving out that much more information. But let's continue. Like beavers, otters, jackals, foxes, some bats, and a few dwarf deer and antelopes. In fact, strict monogamy is almost inexistent as creatures do their pair for life, or as creatures that do pair for life occasionally have flings on the side, and some, like the wolf, do not mourn too much a death or no longer sexually performing partner. Staying faithful is extremely hard for animals, as the male are programmed to spread their genes and female to get the best genes from the best males for their young. He also leaves out the fact that there is considered to be 3 types of monogamy. You know, there's sexual monogamy, is the practice of having sex only with one mate at a time. For example, pairs that last only one mating season. Social monogamy is when animals form pairs to mate and raise offspring but still have extra pair copulations. Genetic monogamy occurs when a female's offsprings are sired by only one father. Therefore, his point is unraveled, seeing as how it's a generalized point without referencing the specifics of the factors involved. This brings us to the next point, that love is not only about sex, as previously stated. Therefore, when we discuss a non-sexual way, humans still far surpass the animal kingdom concerning experiencing love the way we do. If things were done Bible way, this wouldn't even be up for debate because there would be complete monogamy, but even Christians themselves can't seem to follow biblical principles nowadays concerning this. This is a case of It's not the race, but the select bunch within the race.